Well, I had to stop for fuel, so I'm starting the day today in a pickup truck. Dodge Ram diesel, 6.7 Cummins. And yesterday we didn't have much work at the very end of the day, and so dispatch says, would you like to preload for tomorrow? And I said, sure. What is it? And he says, oh, scaffolding. so now I have a whole bunch of scaffolding in my bed, some frames, some decks, and I have 2 stops. But the good news is that, so I worked hard yesterday, and so this morning I have a nice leisurely drive. It's 38 kilometers, almost 25 miles, and I'm driving on the ring road, you know. And this Ram, it's not too old for cruise control. So really, like our 2 other pickup trucks, they're much older, and I tried, no, the cruise control does not work on those. Yeah, you see, in Western Canada you cannot have a spread tandem, right? It has to be 54-60 inches. If you come here with a spread tandem like 10 feet 1 inch, they will only give you enough weight for 1 axle. Like basically they will treat your trailer as if it only has 1 axle, which is ridiculous, but that's the rules over here, right? As soon as you cross the border between Ontario and Manitoba, when you go west, so Western Canada rules apply. So no 4-axle trailers and no spread tandems. And so I mentioned this before, how local smart people found a solution for, you know, a restriction on axles past 3, right? So you cannot have 4-axle trailer, which is perfectly fine in most US states, and for example Ontario, like Eastern Canada. And so they put multiple wheels on 1 axle. Like, remember I showed you guys the trailer, I saw a brand new trailer at the Brand tractor, so they would have 8 wheels on 1 axle, so 2 axles is 16 wheels. So it's the same as a 4-axle trailer, except it's shorter. But I was always wondering, like, what kind of axle has to be there, right? Like, typical axle on a trail, I think it's rated for 30,000 pounds. And then, but with 4 tires, 4 wheels, 4 tires, you know, all the jurisdictions, they look at how many inches or millimeters of width your tires have, and so you will not get more than like 25,000 pounds. So in order to take advantage of 8 wheels, you know, imagine, so that has to be, instead of 4, it's 8, so that axle has to be rated for like what, like 50-60,000 pounds. So it has to be a much stronger axle, or I think it's actually, it's like a half axle. It's 2 half axles. That's what I saw on one trailer. It's not a solid axle, because otherwise, you know, what do you do when you have a flat tire, right? So this way, when you have half axles, they can actually, you know, replace tires or work on tires. Yeah, otherwise how do you even put the wheel in, right? Because there's frame in there. So anyway, very interesting design where you have 8 wheels per axle, and which also is popular in California, if you probably know, right? Lots of trailers there, California, and I think I saw something similar in Nevada, but I may be mistaken. But here they're quite popular, but I suspect the price of the trailer goes through the roof when you have so many wheels and so many tires, and plus the axles have to be super strong. But that would be a nice trailer, you know, just a 2-axle, so it's short, but you have 8 wheels, so you have lots of, you know, high load rating. And I got up today at 5 o'clock because today's Tuesday, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday I try to do some strength training. So I got up at 5, threw my kettlebells around, and did some. That guy's impatient. Threw some kettlebells around, did some jerks, snatches, bent rows, goblet squats, dual front squats, deadlifts, and my favorite, bench press with 2 bobble plates. So it's 90 pounds, and then I rest for like 10 seconds and I repeat with 1 bobble plate, 45 pounds. So nothing from Uber, because the last piece of document was Elvis Enhanced Livery Vehicle Inspection Standards, which was done Saturday. So I'm guessing they only saw it on Monday, but on the app on the phone everything is green, basically submitted, accepted, like there's 10 positions over there, and the last one remaining is still City of Calgary TNDL, Transportation Network Driver License. And I keep clicking on it. It says, please take a photo of your TNDL. But so in order to get that TNDL, as I mentioned before, you have to get an invitation from the City of Calgary, which will happen when Uber sends them copies of all the documents I submitted. And I searched online, like, how long does it take? I think I saw somewhere like up to 5 business days. So it can be sometime this week. But I remember reading one guy was complaining about the same problem. Like he submitted all the documents, and it's been like almost 2 months, and he still didn't have the invitation for the TNDL training. And he was trying to find a lawyer online, like what do I do next, because I already spent this money. Because yeah, like when you do the background check, it's only valid for I think 60 days, right? And so if you don't get accepted within 60 days, now you have to go and spend another $55 online and $25 in person, I think. So I hope it doesn't take that long with me. I don't know, because I found, like, this guy, they asked this guy, they said, so what did you... Okay, let's switch on the cruise control. I see 105, perfect. Just 5 clicks over the speed limit. Should be perfectly safe. By the way, when I'm driving, and this is the ring road, we have these small lakes everywhere. You know, like right next to the road, we see like there's this mini lake here, mini lake over there. It's just probably some rainwater with some springs. And there's so many birds, you know. Like one place when I'm driving to work, there's just some water in the field, And I was surprised to see what they call them, spoonbills. You know, those like ugly looking birds with very wide beak. I only saw them in Florida, and there was like 2 of them walking around. I wish I would have my, you know, I used to have all this wildlife photography gear, right? But then I couldn't make any money with it. Nobody was interested in my wildlife photos. So I sold all those mighty lenses. I had like 300mm, 500mm. When I didn't work, you know, after I came to Calgary, right? In other news, I received a letter from Chrysler, or rather Stellantis, saying that there's a recall on the transmission module software on my Jeep. You know, which is nice. They let you know. Like, I didn't have any issues, but they say that software can cause a red alert, basically error message, whereas everything is perfectly fine. So basically they have to update the software for the transmission. So on the way yesterday, on the way from work, I stopped at the local Dodge dealer here, the one that opened recently. So now I don't have to drive to central Calgary, right? There's one here near the airport. And so I stopped there and booked an appointment Monday. And I said, how do we do this? I said, I work from 7 to 4, sometimes to 5. And she says, well, we open at 7. No, I said, 6:45, that's when my shift starts. That's what, you know, our management wants us. Like in the morning I would grab a coffee, you know, depending on how I feel. Like I pull up to Starbucks, and they all know me there, you know, like I guess they can see my, oh, check this out, oversized, what does he have, Western Star with a big farm tractor. And they, you know, I pull up to the drive-through, and you know, the window, they can see your car. And I'm guessing they recognize my voice here. I see another lake, like beautiful. And the lady says, morning, upside down grande americano, 2/3 decaf. And I keep changing on them, you know, like they like this when people order the same, because these guys have amazing memory, you know, at Starbucks. And I say, no, let's keep it interesting. I said, give me a tall Americano, which is small, half decaf. And the poor girl sighs, okay. So yesterday I had grande, which is bigger size, 2/3 decaf. Today I have half decaf tall Americano, but upside down, which of course means they have to put water first and then coffee on top, because that's how it's supposed to be. And also it tastes much better, and you have that crema, you know, like foam on top when they do it like that. By the way, I don't know if you guys know why it's called Americano. It's because American tourists, when they would come to Italy, that's where people drink espresso neat, you know, like in small cups, right? Italians, they just drink espresso, which is super strong, and it's very bitter, right? And so American tourists could not stand the taste, and they would ask the baristas, you know, to add water, to add hot water to the coffee, to the espresso. And because these were American tourists, so Italians started calling this coffee Americano. And actually I think some of them started drinking that one. So it's basically diluted espresso. So yeah, so that's what's happening. A recall. So the job is fine. I really got used to all this scaffolding now. Doesn't bother me at all. Still, the most difficult piece to load unload is large decks. You know, like frames are, because they're square, they're 5x5, they're heavy, but they're much more easier to carry, whereas these decks, 10 feet long decks, and they have, you know, they're reinforced, like the sides are all aluminum, or you know, so it really bites into your ribs when you carry them. And I don't want to carry them down at my knees, because then I would have to turn them with the deck towards my pants, and they always covered in drywall, and so I can carry 2 of them, but then all the drywall will be on my pants. And so instead I turn them with the deck facing away, and I just carry them like a baby, you know. But that's when it goes right into your ribs on the right side. Like, I hate these. And unfortunately, 10-foot decks, from what I've seen, are the most popular with customers, because we have 7-foot long decks and 5-foot long decks, right? So you just need to put your frames closer. Instead of 10 feet apart, you put them 7, and then you put a 7-foot long deck. And what's cool about that one is, actually I have a couple of 7-foot decks now and 2 10-footers. So 7-foot decks, they fit right inside the bed of this truck, because the bed is 8 feet long, right? And so I don't have to strap them down, they don't stick out, right? Whereas 10-foot decks, I have to put them at an angle so the rear sticks out, it's over the tailgate, and so I have to put a strap just in case, right? But 7-footers, man, so much easier to work with. I just carry 2 of them. Normally they're not that dirty, because fewer people use them, you know. But yeah, like I said, unfortunately, 10-foot decks are the most popular. So I'm 13 clicks away from my exit. But after the exit, I always try to see the total distance. Like right now, the total distance to the destination is 18 clicks, but my exit is at 13. So which means that after I exit the highway, I still have to drive like 5 clicks, 3 miles. Yeah, the sky is like okay on this side, but over there, that's west. Mountains. It looks like it's gonna rain. I don't know. But finally it's warm. It's warm. Yesterday I was just walking around in a t-shirt under my safety vest. And today we're gonna have plus 22 Celsius. So Florida, here we come. And so I'm wearing shorts under the pants. I still haven't figured out if we are allowed to wear shorts at work. So I'm gonna ask. The boss shows up at 8. I'm gonna ask him if it's okay. Because then when it becomes very hot, I can just strip these pants and be in shorts. Would make things easier. Some people were asking about retirement, and I just want to reiterate, I don't believe in retirement. I think you quickly turn dead when you retire, because no, I mean by retirement I mean when people just lie on the sofa and drink beer all day, you know, doing nothing. I cannot be that. I have to do something, you know, either photography or make some money or travel, you know. But I did apply for a pension, because I've been in Canada since 97. What is it, 27 years, and I thought they should owe me some money, right? So I applied in March, and a couple of weeks after that I received a letter saying that I was approved, and then I look at the amount and it's just ridiculous. It's less than 500 bucks. But then this morning I noticed, on Canadian, and then this morning I noticed something that, like, that letter had 2 pages. The letter from the government about me being approved for this tiny baby pension. To give you an idea, it helps to pay for my cell phone and my cable internet. That's all it's good for, which is like funny, like you work for, but you know, most of the time I was self-employed, so I didn't pay too much towards CPP, Canada Pension Plan, because my income was, like, my taxable income was pretty low after all expenses. So but the second page I discovered this morning, turns out there's a benefit if you keep working between 60 and 70, and I'm 62. If you keep working, they're gonna pay you this benefit, because, you know, like, I already had what, like 5 or 6 paychecks, and from every paycheck they deduct CPP, Canada Pension Plan, right? And so they owe me some money. And so that second page said that you don't have to do anything. It'll be if you keep working. And you know, how you cannot work when they give you like $2 pension, you know? And so, but they say, yeah, if you keep working, we'll automatically give you this this benefit. I'm not sure how it's paid, monthly, or, and they said if you keep working until 70, so that benefit will keep increasing, since, you know, I keep paying into the CPP, right? So they're gonna give me more money. So that's the good news. But yeah, so I did apply because I had no choice, because the income is a bit low. So hopefully in a couple of weeks they should do a evaluation, because that'll be my 3 months at work. And if everything is good, I should get extra $1 an hour. Which will also affect the overtime pay, right? But I do see now that they were right. So after Victoria Day, long weekend, on May 20th, things are picking up, you know, and most of the time I stay past 4 p.m. so I'm getting paid overtime for that time after 4. I cleaned up my Jeep inside. I found that I forgot that I bought, oh, look at this guy. It's a cop. A cop is driving on the grass, like that way. What, they found a body or something? So yeah, I found I have that you know, spray to keep your interior clean, and so I bought some microfiber towels, and I cleaned up everything. So I'm pretty much ready to accept passengers for Uber. All I need to do is just move out my food bags, you know, those thermal bags I use when I do some, you know, food deliveries, because, you know, what happens if you get a passenger or a couple of passengers with luggage, right? So everything has to be empty. Okay, 800 meters. We're gonna turn on the volume back on. I think it's 88th Street. Yeah, this one. So I'm at the very bottom of Calgary. So if I keep going this way, I'll hit.
Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 96.
I'll hit Sweetgrass, Montana. Okay, cruise control off.
Continue for 1 kilometer.
Speed limit 80 kilometers an hour.
In 800 meters, use any lane to take the 88th Street Southeast ramp.
So now we're crossing back over the Ring Road 201. And that way is west. How do I know? Because I see the mountains.
Use any lane to take the 88th Street Southeast ramp. Continue for 800 meters.
So that's another new development.
In 600 meters, continue on to 88th Street Southeast.
Okay, exhaust brake on. Not sure why they have 50 kilometers here. And then right away over here it becomes 60.
Continue on 88th Street Southeast for 1.5 kilometers.
I don't think many people pay attention to this 50 kilometers an hour sign, because it doesn't make any sense. First it's 80, then 50, then 60. Okay, my first stop is an easy one, so I just offload 2 frames, 5 by 5 feet, 2 decks, 10 feet long, and 2 10-foot long braces, and 4 casters. That's it. But my second stop will be a big one. There's like 8 frames, but no big decks, just 7-footers. But lots of frames.
In 600 meters, turn right onto Rangeview Boulevard Southeast.
And now we're back to 50 again. You know, just in case these nasty peace officers are sitting somewhere in ambush, I try to watch my speed, because I can't afford any tickets.
Turn right onto Rangeview Boulevard Southeast.
Since this is my job, right?
Continue on Rangeview Boulevard Southeast for 800 meters.
By the way, try to do some, each day after work, I stop at the Starbucks over there, and I turn on my DoorDash. Since Uber still blocks me, I cannot do food deliveries with Uber until my account is all set up for taxi. I don't know why they do that.
In 400 meters, turn right at Heirloom Boulevard Southeast.
Right, like everything was fine. I was delivering food for Uber, and then as soon as I said I want to do taxi, they canceled that one. So now I cannot do food unless I finish everything for taxi.
Turn right at Heirloom Boulevard Southeast,
and so
then turn right onto Magnolia Gate Southeast.
So every day after work, especially if I finish early, I go and sit for half an hour in that shopping plaza over there, and I switch on DoorDash, but it's super slow. It's like 4:30, 5 o'clock.
Turn right onto Magnolia Gate Southeast, then turn right onto Magnolia Way Southeast.
Like yesterday, there was nothing. I waited half an hour, no orders. I said, screw this, and I went home. And the day before, I think I made like, they offered me two orders, but they were super cheap, like $4 for 10 kilometers. Wow.
Turn right onto Magnolia Way Southeast.
Like in these new developments, quite often they don't have any signs, you know. And then we have to
In
use
600 meters, your destination will be on the right.
and then we have to use a special map. There's a map for new communities, because Google will not have it, but sometimes actually Apple Maps are better. If Google doesn't have it, I check Apple Maps. If Apple Maps don't have it, I go on this My Calgary, my new communities special map. So anyway, let's get ready. Well, the second delivery, I got lucky. There were two guys in there, so I was just standing on top of the truck, handing them the frames and the decks. And then I just drove 50 clicks back to the yard. And now I'm in the Freightliner. So I'm hauling a mini excavator, 3,800 pounds. I think it's a John Deere. And a very weird machine called a ride-on stripper. A ride-on stripper, which sounds like something not very decent, but actually it's a small machine to strip the floors. And it has a seat, and you sit on top of it. And there's two levers. Basically, it looks like a small lawn mower. That's what it is. Except in the front, it doesn't have that big, you know, blade for cutting grass. It has a small attachment where you attach a 6-inch blade. 6-inch. So I guess it wouldn't be a quick procedure to strip floors if you can only do 6 inches at a time. And before we leave the yard for the delivery or pickup, we have to call the customer and let them know we are coming and the ETA. And so I'm in a good mood today because of all those kettlebells. So I called the gentleman that ordered the excavator, and I say, hey, this is Sergei with such and such company. I just wanted to let you know I just finished loading this massive Cat 475 excavator you ordered. And I made a pause and I waited for his reaction. The guy like, there was a puzzled silence, and he says, and then he starts laughing. He says, you almost gave me a heart attack. I said, okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was a joke. I said, you ordered a 3,800 pound excavator.
Take exit 261 for
not a Cat 475, which, you know, is like 70-ton machine. Like, imagine, I have a 5-ton truck. And imagine, like, if this was somewhere like Vietnam, Iran, China, you know, you see those idiotic movies on YouTube where people, they don't care about, you know, rating of your transport, right? They will load anything until the wheels, like, if the wheels don't go in the air, if the front axle wheels don't go in the air, it's good. That's how they calculate what you can haul over there, right? But unfortunately here we cannot do that. Maybe fortunately. So yeah, we had a laugh with the guy. So, but you see, now they're waiting for me. I told them my ETA. So, and they told me where to drop it. Basically, it's a house, as you know, because, you know, mostly we carry smaller machines. So 9 out of 10, the place where I'm going, like if it's a new construction, or renovation, it's always a house, which on the one hand makes it easy, right? So it's not a huge construction site where you have to deal with security, site supervisor, you have to know which contractor the machine is for. Like here, all I gotta do is I gotta know, you want me to drop it in the front or in the back alley, if there's a back alley. And quite often there is a back alley, right? So this guy says, no, there's a driveway, just stop over there and we can unload. And we can unload right there. Well, this day was super long, so finally I'm home cooking some pelmeni, traditional Russian grub. My local Indian grocery food place sells these for like, they were on sale for like $3.95. Now it's four something. And these are pork and spinach. And they're not that many calories. So six of these have 210 calories. So if I do so that's 420, right? So 420, and then we'll add maybe 3 more, which is half of 210. What is it? 105. So 210, 210, and 105. But this is super tasty. And one thing I find difficult to locate in US and Canada is real mustard, which is spicy mustard, not sweet but spicy, because that's what our mustard in Russia was. It was all spicy. So this small, again, I got it at the same Indian Freshco supermarket. This small can is like $3.25, but this is, you know, like real mustard, what I'm used to. And then I'm gonna add up a couple of heads of garlic. Which is good for your blood pressure. I'm gonna clean up this mess later. And I used hot water so that it boils quicker. While the water is boiling, in you go. Man, that pepper is so strong. As soon as I put it in and it goes into the steam, it just starts coughing. And I need to move them a couple of times, otherwise when they're raw, of course they're heavy and they settle down on the bottom and then they get stuck, and then it's difficult to clean. You know, those little pieces of flour stuck to the bottom at high temperature. So very simple, you know, I make them so often, so And still losing weight, by the way, because I watch my calories using that Lose It app. Lose it. So step 2 is just bring it back to the boiling point. And look, because I use hot water, it's pretty much already boiling. Yeah, now so I can reduce from high to 7 or 6.5, and then I let them boil slowly until they all float. So this is gonna take maybe, I don't know, 3-5 minutes. You see right now they're all at the bottom and then they start floating. Like, I like this system. And then that's it. Once they all float, I set the timer at 3 minutes. Just keep the same low boil and basically boil them for 3 minutes after they all float. And that's it. It's done. Just, I don't want the boiling to be too intensive, otherwise they'll start breaking apart. Well, pretty much all of them are floating now. So now we can just set the timer for 3 minutes, and that's it. 3 more minutes. And by the way, the herbs I'm using, these are oregano leaves, and this is garlic herb. They just add a bit of a, you know, extra flavor. And I already put some salt in there too. And this pepper, it's very strong, but you know, it just helps also with the taste. I like spicy. So 1 something minute to go. 5 seconds. And 1. Off. We are good. Wow, smells pretty good. Now maybe add a bit just a little bit of oil. A bit of salt and pepper. So, пельмени or dumplings. So garlic, spicy mustard, and I think I'm forgetting something. Oh, yeah. You need some cheap vodka. I'm trying this Blackstone Ultra. Voila!